I'll probably start as soon as this Rangers Devonport game ends. They're into stoppage time now.
Football is just my world away from the other world. When I step onto that pitch and I'm out there with my teammates and I can just go into battle with them.
And you work so hard and sometimes you don't get the rewards, but when you do get the rewards, it's an unbelievable feeling.
There's nothing like it. You know, football, it's got drama throughout the whole game.
It's just exciting when you see them playing at the best and playing with no fear.
That brief 90 minutes on the pitch, just nothing else matters.
The World Game is Tasmania's game.
Welcome to Buckby Land Rover Park for this Lakoseljac Cup semi-final. These two teams just 2 games away from the FFA Cup round of 32. It's a Launceston City hosting South Hobart. It's sure to be an absolute cracker. I'm Andrew Cooling for Slice of Cheese here to bring this one to you today. The sun is shining and a very entertaining match in prospect. The dying embers of the game at the NTCA currently going on, and Northern Rangers coming very close to a stoppage time equaliser there. Devonport holding sway at the moment in that semi-final 2-1. And of course, the winner will take on the winner of this one between South Hobart and Launceston City, the hosts. City side doing great things so far in 2018. Have historically struggled a little in the NPL, but they've really turned a corner this year. They sit 4 points clear on top of the NPL Tasmania table, and there is the lineup for this City side. It's a good one. It's a consistent one. They've been able to get a fair bit of continuity in the starting lineup, and it's got a good, strong core. Starting at the top there with number 1, Nico Giantsopoulos. He's already made plenty of waves in this competition in his time at Devonport. His season there in 2016, of course, helping them to lift the cup, where they would move on to the FFA Cup and win through to the round of 16. He will be absolutely crucial today. It will be Nico Giantsopoulos, the Canadian star, but it's not just all down to him. They've got a pretty good defensive unit in front of him. I've been really impressed by the work of Lindsay Millington and Liam Scott forming that central defensive pairing in front of him as we get confirmation from the NTCA ground. It has ended there, Devonport 2, Northern Rangers 1. So the winner of this game will take on Devonport. If it's South Hobart who win, we'll have a rematch of 2016, or it could be an all-Northern affair should the hosts find their way through. But the rest of that starting lineup, Shane Hegan, we saw at fullback last week. He's also played central midfield this year. Number 5, Joseph Dorazio. He lined up in the middle, did a pretty good job. Another youngster there, Charlie Dyer. Real blend of youth and experience in this team. Some of the experience, number 8, Daniel Sison, having a fantastic season. Playing a slightly more advanced role than we saw at Devonport, but he is really driving this side forwards from the midfield. Tyler Fisher up top gives him such a great outlet. He's probably the fastest man in the competition. He will certainly test out the South Hobart defensive unit today. Noah Mees, the big target man alongside of him, but he's a lot more than that. Have a look at his work in the 93rd minute last week. No inkling of just chilling in the corner flag like his coach might have liked. He took off and scored the seal. It was an absolutely stunning solo goal. Number 14, Scott Gannon, I'd expect in midfield. And number 16, Alex Turner, I thought really changed the game for City on Sunday against Hobart Zebras. I thought Jaden Hay was really threatening to take it away from him before Turner was switched to his flank and really clamped down on him. On the bench, Daniel Smith, Jared Linger, Harrison Wicks, Reece Gould, and the backup keeper, David Smith. So some good young attacking options on the pine should Jez Kent decide to shuffle his deck. It's a good City side. They're undefeated so far this season in the league and the cup. They might come in as slight underdogs, but on their home turf, you've got to give them a red-hot chance against the visitors from South Hobart, a team with a bit of an affinity for this competition. It has to be said they've won it in 2014 and 15 to go on and represent Tasmania in the FFA Cup around a 32. He is the 11 charge with getting them back there. Starting at the top, number 1, Kieran Brown. In goals, a terrific young goalkeeper. A bright young prospect who's been pretty good since coming back into the side this year. Really enjoyed his work. Number 2, Connor Schmidt, and number 3, Adam Gorry, will be the fullbacks today. And then you have a look at Oscar Thomas, the big giraffe. You'd imagine he partners Daniel Brown in the middle of the defence to round out that back four. And then you're probably looking at a midfield 3 of Luke Farrell sitting the deepest. Nick Morton probably the most advanced, and Jack Turner, the third member in there. A couple of real good goal-scoring threats. Turner, he was fantastic before he got sent off on his last visit to Buckby Land Rover Park. But he was really threatening to do some damage. He's a physical powerhouse in that engine room. He'll be a key to South Hobart today. The front 3, well, the man that sparked their recent form, that is slightly sluggish start to the year, but it's been Renato De Vecchi Marins, the Brazilian. He's offered them another dimension in attack, and along with a former City player, Isaac DeGetto, and number 10, Alex Walter. That will be the front 3 for the visitors today. Jack Bowman, Ryan Cook, young Antonio Saraceno, Keenan Dowse, and the backup keeper who asked me to just pump his tyres up a little bit, speaking to him earlier, number 21, Mark Moncourt, the best backup you could possibly hope to find there. And I'd love to see him come on and take a penalty later in the day. As he's worded me up, he's feeling it. If it comes down to spot kicks, get him in there. I'm not sure how young Kieran Brown would feel about that, although I think he was probably implying more he'd be the one taking them. So there is the South Hobart team marching out. The officials are set to come out behind them in a few minutes. It's been a hotly anticipated one. They know who they'll be playing. It's the Devonport Strikers. That awaits, who will find their way through. Two fantastic teams who are having good years. South Hobart, as I mentioned, perhaps a little slow out of the blocks. They dropped some points early in the season, but they've really turned things around in recent weeks. They've got back to their best, and I think Renato De Vecchi Marins has been a big part of that. Launceston City, well, last time these two teams met, it was 0-0 up here, and they're still a little bit of an unknown quantity at that stage. We weren't sure if they were the real deal or not. Well, road victories over Devonport, Olympia, and the draw with South Hobart, and of course a win over Zebras last weekend as well, have shown that they absolutely are contenders this year, City. They're a fantastic team. They're hard to break down, and I'm anticipating a really fiery affair in this one. Both sets of players know what's at stake. There's been plenty going on in the lead up throughout the week. I'd expect a hotly anticipated game here between South Hobart and Launceston City. City, newcomers to this stage. Well, not quite newcomers. They were in the semi-finals last year and really got touched up by Glenorchy Knights, but that team, well, they're not quite the side that the 2018 version is. They have upgraded in a major way, and this is an 11 that you give every chance of getting through. Jez Kent, the coach, has done a fantastic job. As we have a look at the officials coming out there, it was a bit of a late scramble to see which officials we could actually get on this game after the shuffling of times, but Tony Pett is the man in the middle today. And we'll see Nathan Code alongside him there. Thomas Mace, I think, the other assistant. And Ian Colhoun will be the fourth official today. We're just about ready to go. The sun is shining down on Buckby Land Rover Park. Now I'm really looking forward to this one today. Confirmation of the officials there for you. So after all has been said and done in the lead up throughout the week, plenty of passion on display. We'll certainly be expecting to see that on the pitch. But big opportunity this for Launceston City. A home cup semi-final to move them within one step of the FFA Cup. They know what's at stake as the mascots lining up out there, ready to go. And I'm raring to go for this one. The captains, Dan Brown and Dan Sison, leading the respective lineups out there. South Hobart, well, they've been here in these big games plenty of times before. No shortage of big game experience in that team. Launceston City, they've got plenty of experience in there too, and indeed in the Cup, largely in the form of the players they lured from the strikers and former strikers, of course, in Sison, Giansopoulos. Lindsay Millington has been enormous at the back. I loved his performance against the Hobart Zebras last week. Thought he was a big reason why they walked away with that result. And that's probably going to be the blueprint again today. I wouldn't expect to see this City team trying to pass South Hobart off the pitch. I wouldn't expect to see them dominating possessions. They'll make themselves tough to break down. They'll play direct. They'll try and spring. Tyler Fisher with his pace in behind. Big Noah Mees holding things up will be important. And Daniel Sison, I think, is vital in the midfield to keeping this team ticking over. He just does so much good work for them, and it's going to be a fascinating battle to see him in there up against the likes of Turner and Morton, the Frenchman like Farrell. But there is the City lineup. They are a galvanised unit. They're playing a really good team game this year. They leave it all out on the pitch. I've been super impressed by what I've seen from this City side, and there's no reason they can't claim another big scalp today and advance through to the final of the Lakoseljac Cup, where Devonport are awaiting after they beat Northern Rangers 2-1. Goals from Miles Barnard in the first minute. I don't think Rangers had even touched the ball. And Breda Man, Nick Linnell Atkinson pulled one back for the Rangers, but it wasn't to be. And it is the Strikers through to their second final in a few years. They will be a very tough opponent for whoever can get through against them, but we're just about in readiness here. Dan Brown marches to the middle for the toss of the coin, joined by Daniel Sison momentarily. It's a lovely day for football here at Buckby Park. Fantastic occasion, this Cup semi-final. And Launceston City sensing an opportunity. It's been quite the turnaround for them. They've not finished, I don't believe, in the top 4 in the MPL since its inception. And this year, sitting 4 points clear on top of the table. They've really turned things around magnificently this year. Have assembled a fantastic squad, and this is going to be a cracking game. Plenty at stake. I think there's a bit of a perception that a number of clubs would almost rather win the Cup than the league these days. Such is the lure of that FFA Cup round of 32 spot. That is very much up for grabs. The chance to strut your stuff on the national stage at stake, as of course is the coveted silverware, and some very sizable silverware at that. The Lakoseljac Cup, we saw the new trophy being revealed last year, but finally the time for talk is over. The free game predictions all count for nothing now. We've got 90 minutes, maybe a little more, to separate these two sides. We're ready to kick off at Buckby Land Rover Park. A gorgeous day as we get underway here in the Lakoseljac Cup semi-final. A diagonal from Sison, cut out by Connor Schmidt. Flying in sharply there was Turner. Lining up on the right-hand side of defence today. Scott Millington, as you'd expect, the central defensive pairing. Shane Egan at left-back. The long throw looking for the big frame of Noah Mees. Oscar Thomas, a frame that can probably go toe-to-toe with him. Some real size amongst the two youngsters at the back. That'll be a big duel, and I think Thomas is going to be important, offering pace to try and protect against the likes of Tyler Fisher. Dan Brown, very tough customer, very good in the air, but maybe not the speediest of centre-backs, and Fisher might fancy himself if he can get into a one-on-one there, so Oscar Thomas is going to be important in curtailing his influence. Connor Schmidt with the throw in here on the near side. Young left back, Deveki Marins offering a run. Fisher got a foot in there. Dorazio nodded into the path of JT. He lobs it forward. There was Liam Scott. Turner wafting it down the line in search of Mees. Dorazio tracked it well, but then just trod on the ball and lost track of it for a second. So impressed with Turner's game last weekend. That one floats over his head, and the former City boy Isaac DeGetto is felled, and a free kick opportunity here for South Hobart to maybe swing something into the box early. It's not the tallest South Hobart lineup you'll ever see. City aren't exactly the land of the Giants themselves. As the Morthog stands over the dead ball here. First chance to try and create an opening for either team. Giansopoulos on his toes in the City box. Morton will curl it in towards him. And I think Nicky G will be quite pleased if that's as tough as his afternoon gets. A very regulation catch for him. He gets him moving quickly. This was a real feature against the Hobart Zebras last week. They really like to get that ball moving directly to the likes of Fisher and Mees, who give them such great outlets to be able to play that direct style of game we know that City prefer. This one's chipped down the line for Mees. Noah Mees swinging across in, looking for Tyler Fisher. Dan Brown flicks it away. Fisher tracking it back. He'll want to get onto his left foot here. Squaring it up for Dorazio. Back to Fisher. Gannon's going to have to track this one down, but it was a poor pass. Alex Walker picking it off, and South Hobart back the other way. Walker just held up in the counter momentarily. Now he spreads it wide for Adam Gorry. Gorry dwelling on it. Into the middle for the Frenchman. Luke Farrell punches it in the Morton direction. Now Deveki Marins works it to Jack Turner. Well defended though. Alex Walter now, he swings one, which was blocked away by Egan. On the turn was Jack Turner. That deflects and easily cleared in the end by Dyer. Noah Mees up against the Giraffe, Oscar Thomas. And the throw will go City's way. We've travelled 3 minutes here in the opening stanza. This big cup final, so often you've seen this these stages of tournaments, slightly cagey kind of games, neither team wanting to make a mistake or overcommit and get themselves exposed at the back. Quite often it's earlier in the tournament where we see the more entertaining open games, but certainly the drama and what's at stake just means every moment in these matches so important. Really adds to the occasion as Mees again chases after that one. Oscar Thomas opting just to whack it into touch instead. Dyer will defer throw-in duties. Egan gives it a heave down the line. Must have gone in briefly, but they went straight out again, so South Hobart will take the throw-in now. Adam Gorry down the line. Isaac DeGetto looking for some hold-up work. Back for Gorry. Now Dogger Brown smashes it clear. Only as far as DeGetto. Millington and Scott. Fantastic central defensive pairing, as I don't think either of them would have played too much at centre-back last year. Now falls the way of Tyler Fisher, the dangerous Fisher. What can he do? He treads on the ball. That's not going to do him any favours. Deveki Marins with a sharp turn. Jeez, he's good at that move. He just takes it outside, and he's got such great acceleration, the Brazilian. And a slight push by Turner. Peart waiting to see if there was an advantage. There was a lovely ball that from Connor Schmidt. Just chipped it over the top for Morton, who has been flagged offside. He's not too pleased with that decision. The flag was up very early on him though. So Giansopoulos to take the kick out. Just repeating for those of you tuning in here, the winner will take on the Devonport Strikers, who have advanced to the Lakoseljac Cup final with a 2-1 victory over the Northern Rangers. Giansopoulos gets us going again, sends it long, looking for Mees. The wind picking that one up, really flew. Luke Farrell on the non-preferred, worked it to Alex Walter. Back to Feral TV. And he'll swing one looking for the run of Nick Morton. Well dealt with by Egan. It's Morton to the fall of the ball. Well won back though by Dyer. Just took it away from him, sent it wide. The youngster looking to go toe-to-toe with the Morthog there. The cross comes in from Walter. Devecchi Marin's the target. The Brazilian. The Turner for company. He turns onto the right and fires off a shot. It was a fairly tame effort in the end, though, easily gathered by Giansopoulos. It'll take better than that to beat the mercurial Canadian. Up and under. Won by Loic Farral. Now Gannon. Bouncing off a few heads, and eventually it falls the way of Alex Walter. Farral back to Walter. South controlling the possession early, and they work it to Isaac DeGetto. Squares it back for Gorry, a heavy touch. Allowed in Dorazio. It's worked away. Noah Mees looking to do the hold-up work. He's got 2 for company. Just tried to win a throw-in the end there, Noah Mees, and he does so well. There's the throw-in coming down the line from Egan. Mees are the target, and I think it did deflect last off young Noah there. So a throw-in the way of South. Slightly cagey opening to this one. Gorry with the throw-in, looking for Turner down the line. Punch back centrally for Sison. He retreats back for big Lindsay Millington. Real swing man. And he sends one the Tyler Fisher direction. Good touch to take him away from Connor Schmidt. Immediately draws a crowd. He turns one way, then the other. Tyler Fisher. Heavy touch, spills behind for a goal kick. So well defended there by the South Hobart duo. I think that's going to be City's best avenue to goal today. Tyler Fisher. That's a poor goal kick from Kieran Brown. Really made it tough for Connor Schmidt there. There's Alex Turner. Sends it in the Sison direction. And the Barber chested it down to the Angler, who gets felled, I thought, by Loic Farrell, maybe just slipping instead. And now back the other way comes South Hobart through Jack Turner. Turner charging through the middle of Buckby Park. He gives it to DeGhetto. He worked it across to Walter. Made him work for it. Did it nicely, Alex Walter. The finish, anything but, though. Skews well wide. Might even stay in play. The Brazilian Devecchi Marins tracking it down. Oh, some guile from Devecchi Marins. He beats Turner, all ends up. He's still going. Devecchi crosses. Oh, what a shot block that was. Shane Egan saves the day. That was great positioning from the fullback. That might have just been sneaking in at the far post. Well done by Egan, and Devecchi Marins showing his skill early on, unlocking the defence. Here's Noah Mees leading Dogger Brown to the ball. And then getting a little bit of room, chips it over the head of Fisher. Didn't quite pick out his man in the end there. And on the line, Alex Walter, he's got the pace here. Millington stretching to get there. He just arrived in time, Lindsay Millington. A crucial intervention again. He sends them long for Mees. Scrapping away with Brown, who won the ball well. Got it to Turner. Back to Oscar Thomas. Now Alex Walter. Starting to pop up, and he sends it for the run of Adam Gorry, the overlapping fullback. He does not tie Gorry, just charges up and down that flank all day, and he works it back to Walter. Steered away by Dorazio. Morton brings it down. Loic Farral. Wide right they go again. Adam Gorry. South Hobart looking to maximise the width here and drag this compact unit out of position. Alex Walter drills the low cross, and that's blocked behind by Egan. And it'll be a South Hobart corner. 16 minutes gone here. 10 minutes gone rather at Buckby Park. And South Hobart on the offensive here. They'll find this City side a tough unit to crack though. Very, very organised side. So the corner swung in towards Turner. Sison for company. enough to affect him, and then it's just smashed out of there by Dorazio. Eventually Ferrell TV will pick it up and throws it back to his young keeper, Kieran Brown. Been in very good form in the last month, Kieran Brown. Graham Wright starting the season as the #1 keeper. Brown, of course, was their #1 last year as they romped to the league. Had a slightly slow start last year as well before really ticking into gear. And they've looked to follow a similar mould this year as DeGhetto just outpointed by Gannon. Liam Scott was at South Hobart in the Challenge League last year. Never ended up being used in the NPL, as we thought he might, but he's walked into this City side and been fantastic for him at the back, offering some real leadership and organisation back there. Nico Giansopoulos screaming out the orders behind them all. His organisation, one of the great skills he brings, the intangibles as well as the shot stopping that comes with the Canadian that makes him so valuable. Here's Alex Walter. Cutting inside, shifts the play, getting a touch on it was Turner. Will it fall for Jack Turner? Scrapping away. Well done in the end by Liam Scott. Steers it behind for the corner. Jack Turner, the cork in the ocean. So often bobs up in the box and scores from those type of scenarios. Morton works it back for Gorry. Good organisation again from City though, and they win the throw in. Lovely day for football here at Buckby Park. City taking their time with the throw-in, and they'll be quite happy to eat seconds off the clock, I'd have thought. Anything they can do to break the flow of the game. Try and stifle this South Hobart side, I'm sure they'll be keen to do. Throw in. Dyer, surrounded by South Hobart bodies, Charlie Dyer, and Nick Morton comes up with it. Morton again down the right for Walter. He's been prominent early, but he can't get round Egan on this occasion. Well defended from Shane Egan. Drops it back off for Millington. Gorry scrapping with Dyer. Now Sison up against Loic Farrell, the two central midfielders. Experienced heads in the midfield for their respective sides. That was a poor pass though, straight to Dan Brown. Ugly up and under there, might fall for the Brazilian. They let it bounce and that allowed Turner in. Just holds them up a little. It fell to Jack Turner though. Now Walter. Back for Morton, back to Walter. Walter chipping it in, looking for Deveki Marines, who fires, and Giansopoulos is down to save. Just doesn't take him long to get that shot off the Brazilian. As soon as the ball's at his feet, his release is so fast. He's got lightning quick feet. Makes him so tough to deal with, but not a good enough shot to challenge Giansopoulos on that occasion. But South are quickly back on the offensive through Alex Walter. He crosses heavily. Holds up in the wind a little, but favours Alex Turner, smashes it out of there as the front man of the Arctic Monkeys. And Sison, and that's deflected off Farrell. It'll be a throw in the way of City. Tyler Fisher to take. He might leave this one for Alex Turner. Eventually, Alex Turner to take in front of the South Hobart dugout there, and he sends it long, rising up with Schmidt. Jack Turner smashes it clear. Liam Scott. Millington. Oscar Thomas tried to get in front of Mees, didn't quite manage to do so, and a dangerous attack down the left comes to nothing. Dyer just a little bit wasteful with the cross. Needs to produce better than that when he has time and space. In a good position to swing a ball in. There's a couple of handy targets in Fisher and Mees. And Sison the most advanced of, looks like a bit of a midfield diamond. Here's Deveki Marins again, the explosive Brazilian. And that's out of play. Nick Morton unable to keep that one in. Slightly wayward with the passing on that occasion. That was Devecki. Turner. Farrell. Now Morton. A head full of steam. He charges the defence. Nick Morton slides it across for Alex Walter, continuing his run. He had 3 to pick out. Now Jack Turner wants it. That's where he heads. Turner. That's blocked away too. And the City side looking calm at the back. Under pressure early. They're doing plenty of defensive work, but they're doing it well and they won't be unfamiliar with it. And this is where they've done the damage on these counter-attacks. It's a teasing little ball from Fisher looking to pick out the run of Dyer, but just slightly overhit. Dogger Brown sends it long. Connor Schmidt had made a bombing run down the left. Can he track this one down in time? He does. Looks up. Swings the cross in. Didn't have a lot to pick out. Nick Morton almost made it work. Into the path of Walter. Works it across to the Morthog Morton. He drills it across the face and it deflects off Turner. He worked a goal just over the top. A dangerous moment that. Apologies, a few technical difficulties hampering our replay ability at the moment, so you'll have to rewind the YouTube stream if you want another look at that one, but we'll have that one fixed at half-time, hopefully. No way to fix it without zonking out at the moment, so this is preferable anyway. 0-0 after 17.5 minutes. Giantsopoulos with the goal kick, sends us long, looking for Mees, but like Farrell, the only one who contested it. Right down to Gannon. He puts it out in front of Dyer. Kieran Brown comfortably out to collect, and Gorry was lurking ready for the quick counter, and off he goes. Darcy Street's favourite runger sends it across to Alex Walter. Puts a cross in near post, trying to catch out Giantsopoulos, who was just cheating off his line a little, but unable to squeeze that one in. It was Adam Gorry, who's looking his energetic self, charging forwards. Always looking to bomb on. This one an up and under. And then Gannon smashed it away. Here's DeGetto. Mees. Dorazio left it for Fisher. A bit deeper than when he'd normally like to receive the ball. They try and switch it up. Gorry across to deal with that. Gorry just playing that one to Brown. So 20 minutes gone here. South Hobart have done the bulk of the attacking. A couple of good moments. Jack Turner probably coming closest of anyone so far. So the game playing out perhaps as we'd expect. South Hobart looking to hem this City side back in, who are going to be very tough to break down. They'll get bodies back. They'll be organised. South Hobart need to show patience. They couldn't find a way through them on their last visit here back in round 5 of the NPL season. So that deflects off to Jedi. A throw in for City. A throw from Turner. Taken down by Mees. Straight to Connor Schmidt though. Brown and Farrell get the way of each other, and then Mees leaves it behind for the Morthog, who takes off towards goal. Turns back the other way. Dorazio shadowing him. Jack Turner in a pocket of space. Turner, not usually one for the long shot. Luke Farrell, wide for Connor Schmidt. Schmidt swinging it in, getting a foot in was Gannon, doing some good defensive work. Turner attacking that, but Sison got there first. That was a risky pass there from Dyer. Molded forward by Brown. Dyer might pick it up, and now perhaps a chance on the break here, City. He's got Sison out wide. He's got Mees, who hits it first time. And caught comfortably at the end by Kieran Brown, just trying to catch him out there. Unable to do so. Brown nods into the path of DeGhetto. Turner skews it, and a safe pair of hands again from Giantsopoulos, who's been overly tested yet, but he's had a bit to do so far. Half time in the Women's Statewide Cup. I'm informed by our statsman Benny Smith. 0-0 between Ulverston and Kingborough. Another action around the state today. Taroona taking on Olympia. The semi-final later on at Warrior Park. And of course, Devonport beating Rangers 2-1 in the first of the Lacquer Cup semis. Here's Connor Schmidt carrying it forwards. South Hobart on the attack. City dropping deep. Still going Schmidt, but eventually just run into that wall that they've erected around the penalty area. Gorry. Line for Walter. They've done a lot of work down the right early in this game. City quite often happy to cede those pockets of space and just defend the penalty area en masse. Work from against the Zebras. Here's Nick Morton. Nick Morton trying to work the room to shoot, but he just couldn't find it. Walls, the elevator doors there just closing on him as he tried to find that space. He wants it here, Jack Turner. Turner to Walter. Drops it back for Morton. Lovely ball for Adam. Gorry stretching. Couldn't quite track it down. It was good one-touch football. We just slightly overhit it on the end, but they finally found some gaps in that City defence there. Just didn't have the right weight on the pass as they tried to find a way through. Giantsopoulos sending this one along. Oscar Thomas moving it down. So the wind really starting to pick up here at Buckby, howling through the ground at the moment, which the flags should probably favour Launceston City as Alex Walter gets round one. Jinks inside of another. Put up a little prop. He's really starting to howl here. Here's Isaac DeGhetto. Plenty of time in the middle of the park. Feral TV back to Dan Brown. He lofts it for Deveki Marins. Wearing him tightly like a cheap suit was Turner. Still going Deveki Marins, and in the end just a little too handsy for Tony Peart's liking. And a free kick given South's way. Schmidt back to Oscar Thomas. The Giraffe wants someone to present. It was Walter. Works it back to Gorry again. Gorry with the long range cross. Jack Turner the target. Giantsopoulos comes. He couldn't reach Turner. Turning. Giantsopoulos well out of his goal. Nick Morton volleys. Just wide of the mark. Deflected behind for a corner. Giantsopoulos came, didn't collect, and it just left the door ajar for the Morthog. Couldn't quite dissect the gap. Another good look there for South. 25 minutes gone. They've had the best two chances of this one so far. Deveki Marins plays it short to Morton. Morton jinks inside, then crosses on the left. Away by Millington. Adam Gorry will think about smashing this as he just chips it. And it was easy for Giantsopoulos. And the Giant smashes this one along to Tyler Fisher. He's so dangerous in this situation. This time Schmidt gets a foot in and staying back the speedy fullback. That's where Zebras got caught out last week on the opening goal. Just a long goal kick from Giantsopoulos to Fisher. With the wind at his back, he's going to be able to launch it quite the way here. City, you feel, might need to take advantage of this wind in the first half if it's going to remain this strong. Here's Walter. Back for Brown. South not showing any ill effects of the wind at the moment. Ghetto scrapping away. In support was Jack Turner. Gannon did well to hold him up, but the industrious Ghetto off again. He plays it behind to Deveki Marins and continues his run. Deveki inside and then outside the quick feed. He's scrapping away with Turner there, who plays it into touch. Deveki. Powerful figure of Jack Turner. Scott Gannon comes in, tries to work him over. Still going, Jack Turner. William Scott just corralling him. He drops it back for Renato Deveki Marins. Ghetto got there first, worked it to Morton on the volley. Nick Morton opens the scoring. The Morthog at Buckby Land Rover Park deposits the volley into the back of the net, and South take the lead. It had been coming. They'd had all the attack in the first 26 minutes here, and they put it on the scoreboard. A silence falls across the ground. The home faithful not enjoying that so much, but it invited an awful lot of pressure in this opening period. Sooner or later you felt it was going to tell. And Nick Morton showing great technique to strike the volley home. And had a couple of warnings. And Nick Morton has South Hobart 1-0 ahead. Don't be fooled by the scoreboard. They haven't got a double goal there, but 1-0 the score. And it is the Morthog, so often the man for the big occasion. And he puts South's noses ahead here. Now, what do City have? They'll be able to fight back in this one. I feel like they're a side that's better suited to playing with a lead than chasing one. But they've certainly got some firepower up there with the likes of Mees and Fisher. There's goals in this team. And they're chasing the game now. They're chasing a berth in the cup final. Here is the goal scorer, the Morthog, in the bullseye. Looks up and sends a raking ball into the path of Alex Walter, who's quick, but he's not that quick. He's never going to track that one down. Giantsopoulos with the goal kick. Approaching the half-hour mark here at Buckby Land Rover Park. A real silence gone over the place after that goal. Bit of a deflator for the hosts, who've come here and haven't seen a whole lot of the ball. In truth, it's been South Hobart firmly on top. They've been coming into form nicely over the last few weeks as Kieran Brown just throws this one straight out of play. And we've got a player down on the ground here at the moment. So we hope he's all right. A stoppage for the time being. Chance for both sets of players to get a bit of a breather, but it's the captain, Dan Brown, who's down. The big fella. Seeing stars at the moment. Not sure what actually happened. Dogger Brown, a pretty tough customer normally. South Hobart bench, a few players going through the motions at the moment. Jack Bowman, the archer, probably the most likely replacement for Brown if he can't continue. Of course, no Kobe Kemp in the side today. He's capable either in midfield or central defence, but it looks like it might be a hamstring here for Dogger Brown. I don't know that he's going to be able to continue. Bowman really going through his paces, and this could be a big blow for South and perhaps the break that City were looking for to get back into this one, but he's walking very gingerly to the near touchline. Gives the trainer a bit of a nod, and I think that might be the end of the captain's day. Unless he's putting on quite the act. Shouldn't be surprising, but trying to see what treatment he's getting here. It looks hamstring or calf related. So South down to 10 for the time being. Can Launceston City really sees the advantage of that. I don't think South will want to stick to 10 men for too long. Jack Bowman is warming up. Brown being stretched out by the trainer here on the near side touchline. Seeing if it's just maybe some cramp or getting some work on the back. So tough one there. For now, Loic Farrell's dropped back into centre half and he carries the ball out and sends it long for Deveki Marins. Liam Scott should win this. Heads it to Gannon. Scott Gannon for Noah Mees. That's almost intercepted. Sison to Gannon. Now Egan. Egan lofting it long for the pacey Tyler Fisher to try and track down. He's up against Oscar Thomas. Just gave him a little bump. Just worked it nicely and out off Thomas for a Launceston City throw. Chipping it forwards. Walter up against Sison. Casting the role of a defender there, Alex Walter. He did it nicely. Switching ball, only Tyler Fisher there for the City. Back for Alex Turner. Turner will swing this one in the mixer and try and test Kieran Brown, who shows a safe pair of hands to take it away from Mees and immediately swings them back the other way through Adam Gorry. Charged down by Egan. Deveki Marins, a scything challenge from Millington there. And in the end, he's going to get a slice of cheese for that, Lindsay Millington. Tony Pett issuing him with a yellow ticket and a dose of dairy for big Lindsay Millington. And sliding in on that one, unfairly in the referee's view. Since if you're just joining us, we've lost a replay for the time being. We'll have to have that back later on, but just rewind the stream if you want to have another look at that challenge. Meanwhile, talk about Lazarus. Dan Brown is set to come back on here. Well, his day looked done 2 minutes ago. I'm not sure what the South Hobart trainer's done there, but he's conjured a real miracle. So Dan Brown to continue. He's still clutching at his hamstring though. Anyway, 11 v 11 we are again, and Morton punches it down the line for Gorry, who's got plenty of space to cross here. Gorry, he swings it in to the top of the box, steered away. Morton makes it first time and hits that absolutely horribly, skewing well wide. Never going to test Giansopoulos with an effort like that one. So it's South firmly in control here after 33 minutes. The hosts haven't had too much of a sniff so far. And they're a team who have taken their chances this year. They've been pretty clinical when they've been presented, so South can't afford to slip up. Deveki Marins chasing this one. Millington steered it into the path of Egan. Gannon. Now Sison. Lofting it forwards for Dyer to chase, but Oscar Thomas is back there for South. And the lanky frame of the giraffe, Oscar Thomas, just shielding that one out. Adam Gorry throwing it in to Walter. Loic Farrell. Jack Turner couldn't keep it in. Ken Morton barking out the orders for Isaac to get over to just drop back in here. He might receive this ball in a second, but they've gone out the right instead. There's Turner threading one through for Deveki Marins. Looks to get the better of Millington. It's Deveki Marins, well done Millington. Got a strong foot in. Really well defended there from the centre half. Sison has two to beat, couldn't do so. Nick Morton with the first time ball for DeGetto. Chips it in, looking for the run of the Brazilian, but gathered by Giansopoulos once more. He hasn't had too much to do. Playing sweeper, Giansopoulos so far. Hasn't really been tested. Has been beaten once though by Nick Morton as Oscar Thomas works it to Walter, who's been very busy down that right. Getting a foot in well was Loic Farrell, just won the ball from behind. Now Jack Turner. Durazio shadowing him. DeGetto. Back for Connor Schmidt. Continuing to be forced back here. Brown to Turner, but South doing a good job controlling the ball. Connor Schmidt threads it through the legs towards DeGetto. DeGetto up against Liam Scott. He crosses along the ground. Nick Morton in space. It's Morton straight at Giantsopoulos. He misses an opportunity to test him there. Straight down the throat of the Canadian there. Suddenly he found himself all alone at the top of the box, Nick Morton. He's been buzzing about, causing all manner of problems in this City defensive unit. Here's Gorry. Pressured by Dyer, but just jinked inside of him. Momentum took him past the South fullback. Morton couldn't work it there to Walter, but free kick blown. Much to the chagrin of the locals. South take it quickly. Gorry looking for Walter. Too quickly, though. Will be brought back. Gorry swinging in. Dan Brown charging forwards. Nods into the path of DeGetto. Giantsopoulos got there before him. And crucial that he did so. No one had tracked the run of Isaac DeGetto. He's Noah Mees. That's what City want to see from Mees. Presenting, winning, then laying the pass off to a teammate. It's been a bit disjointed so far today for City. It's breaking down. South really in the ascendancy at the moment. Just need to get their foot on the ball a little bit. Gannon with an elbow on it, and Sison does well to keep his balance. He was looking for his right wing option and had absolutely no one there for him, and he's just asking the question of his teammate, where's the support? Very hard to build when you've got no one to pass to. Liam Scott now retreats all the way back to Giantsopoulos, and South have done this well. Looking well organised. And they've won the ball back from a throw in here, and let's get the sense City would take half time at the moment. They've looked a little bit flat for such a big occasion. South really bossing the contest. Here's Nick Morton threading it through for Deveki Marins. He sends it across to Adam Gorry. Now Walter. Alex Walter chips it into the mixer. Falls to the feet of DeGetto. Will it spill for Morton? Trying to get free, plenty of bodies, and once it hits the deck in there, plenty of bodies for City. Liam Scott's decided he's going to try and make something happen himself. He's gone charging forwards down the right. Turner will go in that direction now. And he just bodies up on Brown, who takes a tumble, and Scotty not appreciating the gamesmanship there from Brown. And he'll go wandering back to the middle of defence, but didn't mind that from Liam Scott. Something's got to happen here. They need some energy from somewhere at the moment. Just not really creating much, and a real leader at the back. Scott decided he needed to be the one to try and force the issue. And South looking a bit too comfortable for a cup semi-final at the moment. 1-0 ahead, they're not being tested. So can Scott Gannon change that? With a ball like that he won't. Straight to Kieran Brown. He releases to Morton. Now the Morthog, he's got DeGetto in space, but he just charges inside, then he goes outside. Well worked by Morton. DeGetto now running at Scott. It's Isaac DeGetto. The step overs, lovely work. Coming in support was Turner. Offered great coverage there. Did Alex Turner work back nicely. And behind it goes for another corner. South continuing to knock on that door as we tick towards half-time here at Buckby Park. 5.5 to play. New concerned faces down around the City bench at the moment. They just need to absorb this and hang in there. At least 5 minutes. Morton lays it short to Gorry. Adam Gorry chips it towards Oscar Thomas. Got his head to it. No real direction to it. Out of play for the throw in. Long ball looking for Fisher. Well done, Connor Schmidt. A smaller man, but he got up and won the header, and he's done that a couple of times, Schmidt. He's really competing hard, the South Hobart fullback. Scott will try and keep this one in. Does so nicely. Just massages one up there to Noah Mees. He did well to keep it in too. Now Tyler Fisher. Drops it off for Sison. He's got a lot ahead of him. He's got Dyer making a good run. Can he work it to Fisher? Not quite. Fisher tried to jink it over Morton, who made a timely block there. Sison willing his way to that ball, trying to make something happen for his side, the captain. No lack of effort on his behalf, that's for sure. So Egan with the throw in. I'm not sure who he set it on as the option there. Went straight to a South Hobart player, just cleared it out so get another bite at it. But I thought Noah Mees would be the one you're trying to hit from these throw-ins. The big frame of Mees. He's got Thomas for company, but it's the obvious target man. Here's Millington. Kent urging the ball to be played into the box, but instead it's shut down and Alex Walter charges back the other way. Here he goes, the flying winger. Charging off to the opposite flank. No one can stick with him. Still going here, Walter. He manufactured a shot in the end, but Scott Gannon did well, just tracked the run and took all the sting off it by the time it had come through to Giantsopoulos with the early release of Falcon on the back of the head there for Dyer, who was tracking the ball and suddenly felt it smashing into the back of his noggin. Here's Adam Gorry. Now Feral TV in the middle of the park, threads it for Walter. And for Gorry, they've done some good work down the right-hand side in this game, South Hobart. Walter and Gorry have been prominent. And he gets around his marker here, Walter. And the tackle one in the end, it was a good recovery. The danger not past. Morton through the legs to Gorry. Gorry chipping it, looking for the run of Turner, well attacked by Giantsopoulos. And eyes only for the ball, attacked it and gathered it, but again, it's going to come right back at them. The distribution quickly won back by South, and that's how this game has played out, really. City just not been able to keep a hold of the ball and having to really defend a lot. They might look at 1-0 at half-time as not a bad result if they can hold it. They've been well below their best today, City. They've not been the side we've seen perhaps in the opening month of the season. Here's Schmidt. Back for Brown. Cut out by Turner. Now Schmidt. Now the scrappy passage of play this. Just back and forth. Liam Scott. He'll knock it long too. Cut off by Morton. Ghetto back to Morton. And now a chance for South to settle it down. They work it to Jack Turner in the middle of the park. Powering forwards here. Here's Jack Turner. Picks out Deveki Marins. Centering pole. Looking for Ghetto. And then an awkward one. Deflecting. And tracked down by Giantsopoulos. Thought the deflection was just sneaking in at the back stick there for half a second. Giantsopoulos able to gather. He throws it to Dyer. He's got Adam Gorry all over him. Trying to pick up a souvenir shirt there, Gorry, and it will be brought back for that foul. Just waiting to see if an advantage developed. Well refereed. None was forthcoming. Final minute of the half here. 1-0 in favour of South Hobart. Can City conjure something up here in the final 60 seconds? They've got a set piece here on halfway. It's Gannon to take. Mees the target. It floats in his direction. Falls for Fisher. The flag was raised. It was against Fisher. Offside. So nothing will come from that. South have been pretty comfortable in defence this half. Looks like they'll make it to the sheds unscathed. And City, well, they're going to want to change things up a little for this second 45 because it just hasn't worked so far. Here's Scott. Won it down for Gannon. Turned it straight over to Jack Turner and he plays it to Walter and Gorry's bursting down the right. That's where he heads. Adam Gorry, he's got a couple to pick out in the middle. He swings in the Deveki Marins direction. Turning as the Brazilian. Raffled it with his teammate in the end. Jack Turner gets past one, gets past two. Still going Turner before Liam Scott intervenes. Another late corner. 2 minutes of added time here on the fourth officials board in Colquhoun down in front of us in the commentary position. So a minute and a half to play. Still time for either side if they're good enough. The Morthog to send this one in. Goes near post, it's poor for Morton. Rather tepid clearance though from Turner. Invites the danger again, and Morton just swings it back in the direction of Thomas. Nods it back towards Turner. Rising was Millington. Here's Dyer. And it looks like it's going to be brought back. A relieving kick for Launceston City. We've got 1 more minute of stoppage time to try and make something happen. We've been left frustrated so far. We've been well beaten in the midfield by South. Lakoseljac, Jack Turner, Nick Morton. Just winning the ball back, seemingly at will. And they're getting at them in wide areas, South, but only scored the one, although Alex Walter threatening late. Put the pressure on Egan. Morton pressuring Sison there on the far touchline. Throw in repelled by Gorry. Walter stretched to keep it in, and it might fall the way of the Brazilian. Good slide challenge though. Well done by Sison. South threatened to break. Turner's charged down by Morton. Falls the way of Tyler Fisher, the angler. Showing his trademark wheels, and he goes in the middle of the park, and that will be all she wrote for the first 45 minutes here at Buckby Land Rover Park. 1-0 to South Hobart at the half. And you have to say a deserved lead after what we've seen. They've done all the attacking, they've created the main chances. They haven't had a heap of prime goal scoring chances. I will say City have done a pretty good job defending the box and at least making them lower percentage efforts for the most part, but it's been South firmly in the ascendancy. They crafted a couple of good chances, and Nick Morton was able to volley one of them home. That's why they are leading 1-0 here at Buckby Park. It's been an entertaining first 45. One cause for concern, though, is Dan Brown, who's once again back on the deck. Will we see him back for the second 45? Join us in around about 10 minutes' time and find out. Halfway through this Lakoseljac Cup semi-final, it's Launceston City 0, South Hobart 1.
I love the excitement and the thrill of being out on the pitch.
It's not all about you, it's about working hard for everyone else on the field as well.
It's a really skillful game, exciting game, fast game.
Playing at the top level gives a sense of accomplishment, like we're actually doing something good for females. Our sport matters.
As soon as you walk onto the pitch, every emotion is flowing.
The passion within the game is second to none.
The world game is Tasmania's game.